Jason for We the People News. Alrighty, we're going to keep doing this over and over and over. This is a learning video. Alright, this is Jason for We the People News. I'm not an attorney, don't care to be an attorney. Always, y'all, I plead you, never just look straight forward. Look around you, for the outside forces may want to commit harm upon you. Alright? And these past couple of videos, I've been showing the harm they are inflicting on the people. Now, I dare have to say, y'all, let me try to adjust this a little bit more, y'all. I don't know. This is supposed to be a really good phone at one time. Paid a lot of money for it. And yet, this is what it gives me. Okay, let's get back onto the deal. So, just take everything that I say with a grain of salt. That don't mean it's true or facts. Or false or facts. Alright? You guys got to do your own research on certain things. Because I don't know all. Alright? We're just going to go ahead and send off on this. Probably going to be the last video, y'all.
Very nature of the system itself. To understand what I mean, consider a book written almost 100 years ago and what it reveals about the underlying imperative of the massive bureaucracy which adjudicates our laws. The book is called The Trial. It's a novel written by the famous Czech author Franz Kafka, a writer who I think is awfully wrongly characterized as a purveyor of macabre tales or terrifying stories. But what I really think is that is a simplistic take on Kafka. In fact, I think what was truly terrifying about his work is how he uses literature to explore the often treacherous gap between how we perceive ourselves and what we truly are. One of the ways he explores this idea is by examining a facet of human civilization that is rarely objectively examined but warrants more attention. I'm talking about bureaucracies, the large and impersonal administrators of state power that are often perceived as impassive and merciless, but also play a crucial role in human psychology that writers like Kafka understood quite well. In The Trial, he recounts the travails of Kay, a young man who wakes up one morning and finds himself subject to an arrest. The problem, though, is that no one will tell him why he's being arrested. It's a predicament that continues throughout the novel as Kay tries to...
We're going to go with the guy named Cox, last name, can't remember his first name. He's from Alaska, and he's still locked up to this day and time. But he has no idea what he's charged for. Which we go back into, he was considered the T word. Alright? And apparently, the T word exonerates Constitution. Which again, we're going to go back with the number one problem we have. That is not true, of my opinion. Alright? This is for YouTube's sake. Just double check everything I have to say, because everything is with a grain of salt. Right? This is a learning video. I voice my opinion. But y'all verify. Alright? But Cox is still in prison for upholding the Constitution, and they called him the T word. And the way I see this, the T word is from the investigation themselves, which is intent of that special freaking judges that's unconstitution that we don't get to know anything about. Again, it's my opinion, don't mean it's fact. Investigate for yourselves.
Learn the nature of the charges against him, a quest that becomes more more and more futile as the story unfolds. It's not just the charges against him which remain a mystery. He's also prevented from learning the names of the judges who would be presiding over his case. He also finds it nearly impossible to locate the courtroom where the trial will occur. What I think Kafka is pointing out here is a subtle but important point: the sharp divide between the way our justice system is portrayed and how it actually operates. In a sense, he likens the bureaucracy's justice to a form of collective self-deception, a constellation of state force and power wielded with the intent to make us forget fundamental human truths about ourselves. It's a human invention that is as intrinsically cruel as it is potent, a source of power for many because within its labyrinths the existential questions and doubts of the mind are subsumed and contained. It's a centripetal social force bent upon supplanting our human interconnectedness with ritual, artifice, and imperious language, or emotions, pleas, feigned objectivity, and inexplicable judgments. I guess what I'm saying is that a system as mindless as our current judicial system is only possible because it is so disconnected from who we truly are. Kafka suggests this is a process designed to be inhumane because it cannot function without the indifference to our true selves. A thought perhaps too horrifying to contemplate. I mean, if you think about the character in the trial, is his plight so different than the other people we've covered on the show? Does Mr. Martinez really know who his accuser is? Can you really administer justice when you can also literally gag a person from talking about his own case? Let me repeat that. He has been barred from talking about his own case or he will be imprisoned. Can we really judge Mr. Martinez's words if he can't tell us what they were and why he said them? He's facing anywhere from 2 to 15 years in prison for words he can't discuss. How Kafkaesque is that? I think Kafka would agree that there is a hidden imperative in our justice system that we often fail to acknowledge. That is, the bureaucratic leanings of our law enforcement industrial complex are far removed from the notions of justice it was designed to implement. Instead, as Kafka made clear with his character K, it is often simply an elaborate camouflage for the human cruelty that arises when we fail to embrace just how human we all are. The point is that the only way to create a system that espouses and embraces equality and justice is to recognize its flaws and confront them. And the only way to achieve that goal is to make the process transparent, to hold the people who control it accountable. Well, that's why we call this show the Police Accountability Report, because we will continue to do just that. I'd like to thank my guest, James Freeman, for taking the time to speak with us today. Thank you so much for your work and your time, James. And of course, I have to thank intrepid reporter Stephen Janis for his time, his writing, his research, and editing on this piece. Thank you, Stephen.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And of course, I have to thank friend of the show, Noli D, for her support. Thanks, Noli D. And I want you watching to know that if you have evidence of police misconduct or brutality, please share it with us and we might be able to investigate. Please reach out to us. You can always email us tips privately at par@therealnews.com and share your evidence of police misconduct. You can also message us at Police Accountability Report on Facebook or Instagram, or at Eyes on Police on Twitter. And of course, you can always message me directly at Tejas Baltimore on Twitter and Facebook. And please like and comment. I do read your comments and appreciate them, and I try to answer your questions whenever I can. My name is Taya Graham, and I am your host of the Police Accountability Report. Please be safe out there.
Anyway, look her up. She's really good. Okay. This is Diesel for We the People News, y'all. What we're doing now is not working. Let's start trying to figure out how we can file criminal complaints against everybody, along as just bar grievance, bar complaints on these attorneys and all that kind of stuff. We need to start doing something. We really do. It's gotten so freaking out of hand. And we talked about this once before, right? If the judge... Really and truly, the way it goes on that one video is that guy should have told the deputy to arrest that judge, and he wouldn't do it. But at least it would be on record for him to do it, so he can go ahead and file against that officer. But I mean, it looks like another innocent person is going to prison. And you see it on here. But we are so one-sided, and we keep looking straight forward instead of around us, that we're absolutely convinced that he did something wrong because some judge said so. So some people is going to get on here or on there or on hers and saying, well, yeah, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, and don't even know the law. You know, most people don't know that she literally has to answer that question. And she may not have to answer all questions. But challenge jurisdiction in the courts, they have to answer it. The courts cannot proceed forward until then. Alright. Do some for We the People News. Bye, y'all.